Previously on CometTalk, we discussed the aftermath of the government shutdown, and Lauren told us some facts about the polar vortex that took our nation by storm. Coming up, this week I discussed my story of the week about Empire star Jussie Smollett, who's now a criminal. In political news, I tell you why this team is suing the Washington Post for $250 million. And Bernie's back. The 77-year-old announces he's running for president again. In pop culture, I tell you what friends of Meghan Markle got her for her baby shower. And what exactly happened to Duke basketball star Zion Williamson, and why is there speculation about a possible lawsuit against Nike? And I end the show with my hot takes, including my conspiracy about Lady Gaga's breakup. Now, let's start talking. Welcome to Comet Talk. I'm Leland O'Brien. Usually my sidekick Lauren is here with me. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today. I hope everyone had a great week of vacation, and now we're back into the swing of things. So we're going to start with my top story of the week about Empire actor Jussie Smollett. He is an actor on the show Empire, as I just said, but Empire is a show on Fox. So I guess he was unhappy with how much he was getting paid. So he wrote himself a letter in the mail that contained some homophobic and racial slurs and crushed up aspirin in it, and I think he tried to do that just to kind of like gain publicity and make that like get attention to himself, I guess, to make the show pay him more. After that didn't work and it didn't gain much publicity, he staged an attack against himself using his two friends, and you've probably been seeing them in the media. They were born in the United States, but they have Nigerian descent. So after they attacked him using bleach, a rope, and Jussie Smollett said that they shouted, "This is MAGA country," and MAGA stands for Make America Great Again. So he kind of roped in the president in that one, and so that's why like the president is involved along with kind of the conservative movement in our country, and as long as like the nationalism part of it. But it all turned out to be a hoax. People kind of started realizing it when he did an interview on Good Morning America, and then a few days later the police said that the investigation is taking a turn. Just using some basic detective tactics, they found out text and camera surveillance that it was staged, and it's just like a terrible thing that happened. They did interview the brothers, and they just kind of confessed to everything. Yeah, so that's just a crazy, sad story. But then, after it all went down, after it all happened, this is what the Chicago police superintendent said, that Jussie Smollett took advantage of the pain and anger of racism to promote his career, and I'm left hanging my head asking why, and aren't we all? So it's just kind of a sad thing. I just wanted to clear it all up for everybody. I'm sure you've been seeing it in the news, but those are the facts. Now into much lighter news. Bernie Sanders announces his run for president. Bernie Sanders is a Democratic socialist, so it's kind of interesting how that's going to play out. He did run in 2016. Maybe he'll have better luck this time. And we're going to get to my hot takes at the end of the show, and so I have a fun thing to say about Bernie Sanders. So now up next to another political story is about the Covington Catholic student. You've probably seen him before. It was a big thing that happened a few weeks ago. He got into an altercation with a Native American man at a protest or a march in Washington, D.C. And now, after everything has happened and the media kind of crucified him, calling him a racist and anti-Native American, but maybe what actually happened wasn't as harsh as the media portrayed it to be. And so now his family is suing the Washington Post for $250 million. Their family statement is that the Post engaged in modern-day McCarthyism by competing with CNN and NBC, among others, to claim leadership of a mainstream and social media mob of bullies which attacked, vilified, and threatened Nicholas Salmon. So that's just an interesting story. We'll see how that plays out in court. On to more solemn news. Jim Boeheim, the head men's basketball coach for Syracuse men's basketball, who is 74 years old, struck and killed a man on a highway in Syracuse. Just a very sad accident as well, but news that we should all know since we're right in Syracuse. It's also big news because College Game Day, which is an ESPN special, was supposed to come on Saturday to Syracuse and just film there all day because Syracuse-Duke game is the Saturday, and they unfortunately pulled out due to the tragedy. Now on to more Duke news. So I'm a Duke fan, so this is why I'm including it. It's big pop culture news. The Duke-UNC game happened, and Zion Williamson, who is the #1 draft pick, or supposedly when he goes to the draft, plays for Duke, and he's the #1 college basketball player, arguably. I think he is. He's 6'7", 6'7". He's a beast. He's 285 pounds. Within the first 15 seconds of the big rivalry game, he got a mild knee sprain. And here's a picture of him tearing through his shoe, his Nike shoe, which is a big deal. And then after, it just altered the course of the entire game. It was one of the biggest losses the Duke has ever experienced at home. They lost 88-72. It's also a big story because President Obama was there. The cheapest ticket to be at the game was $2,633. And so now there's big speculation on if Zion Williamson will ever come back because he doesn't want to sacrifice a potential NBA career. So now on to more pop culture. Duchess of Sussex, which is kind of a tongue twister to say, but the American princess Meghan Markle had her baby shower. She's due in April. Her baby shower reportedly cost $250,000. Her friends Serena Williams and Amal Clooney reportedly footed the bill, which is kind of funny and interesting. There was flowers and vases involved. They just kind of did their own flower arrangements, which is cool, and also donations to charity was involved, which is a really nice thing. People also got her cotton candy machine, which is kind of funny. A harp and a bicycle were all kind of loaded into the venue to give her, which is really funny. But it's also awesome because that the royals don't really have baby showers and leave it up to the American to kind of shake things up. So now into the last pop culture story. Lady Gaga, who was previously in the big film A Star is Born, she ended her engagement with talent agent Christian Carino. Fans started realizing it when there was no ring on her finger during the Grammy red carpet, and she didn't even mention him in her Grammy speech when she won for her song Shallow. So now we're going to go straight on to hot takes. So I'm just going to give my opinion on everything, just kind of fun. Obviously, there's nothing funny about the Jussie Smollett case. However, 17% of homicides in Chicago go solved, which, I mean, you can do the math. 83% of the homicides in Chicago go unsolved, and over 20 detectives were used for this Jussie Smollett case. So all of those detectives could have been working on all those unsolved homicide cases, and that's just awful and sad. On to Bernie Sanders. We'll see how he does. I think that Kamala Harris is going to give him a big run for his money. We'll find out. On to the Covington Catholic School. We'll just have to see how that plays out. I don't think that he's going to get much money. I don't think he's going to get $250 million, but we'll see. On to Jim Boeheim. A lot of people in the news are kind of just like, there was a lot of speculation, but all that it was an accident. No alcohol was involved. It was just a pure sad accident. On to the Duke game. Zion Williamson better come back. If not, we don't have much of a chance in March. I hope he does sue Nike as well. On to Meghan Markle. I just love to see the American princess shake things up in Britain. I think it's a great story. Okay, now on to Lady Gaga and ending her engagement. So this is what I have to say. This is my conspiracy. Only on CometTalk are you going to get this great conspiracy. I think that their engagement ended because she is in love with Bradley Cooper, and I think her fiance just couldn't believe it. So now I want to see Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper go out. Bradley Cooper is single, so that's just all I'm saying. You just saw them at the Oscars perform their song. Lots of chemistry. That's all I'm saying. Big prediction. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Leland O'Brien, signing off. See ya.